I have to look. We have a fundamental just disagreement on what you can and cannot criticize. I am not a believer. It certainly helps when you are not second guessing, when you're first guessing. But at the end of the day, it's Ryan Poles' job to make tough decisions like
Correct.
that. It's his job to, even if everybody in this town was saying it was wrong at the time, if he decided that CJ Stroud was the best option for the Chicago Bears, that's why he gets paid the amount of money he does. That's why he's risen to the ranks that he has in the NFL to make those tough decisions. So I just disagree with the premise that just because none of us said it at the time doesn't mean that it can't be called the wrong move. And I'm not even saying it is, but I do think it's fair for people to bring up, if CJ Stroud goes on to become a Hall of Fame quarterback, it's on the table that the Bears had the number 1 pick the year he was coming out, and they didn't draft him.
I get it.
It's still on the table. It can still be a discussion point. And I'm not sitting here saying it was a mistake. I'm not at that point. And I agree with, certainly wasn't saying, I was not sitting here banging the table with CJ Stroud, but that doesn't mean that we can't point out that the guy whose job it is to make those decisions may have not made the right one.
I wouldn't have picked Patrick Mahomes, but I wasn't the Bears GM either. And so I can still go back and say, you passed on Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's their job.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
I get that aspect of it. I would also push back on the idea that we know for sure CJ Stroud would be doing the same things he's doing.
Here comes the Bears
if he
argument.
was on the Bears.
Right. We'd ruin every quarterback that ever came here.
I'm not going to say we ruin every quarterback, but I'm just saying for this year specifically.
To Carp's point, though, it's not like the Texans are some offensive juggernaut.
No, but it's about coaching at this point, right?
Who's their OC down there? Isn't it like Pep Hamilton or something? Or is he not there anymore? I have to look that up.
Look, the bottom line is, if you to play Braggs' game, my comments last year during the draft were, I remember a couple days in here where I was
started flirting with Bryce.
I started flirting with Bryce, and then I saw him at the combine, and
Bobby's slowing,
and he was he was skinnier than me, and I'm like, that's just. I mean, to me, I get it that it's just too risky of a move, but I also said at the time, like, look, if you trade this pick and get whatever you get, and one of these guys turns out to be great, then it ain't gonna
wear that.
It ain't gonna look.
I'm
great.
just looking at it through the lens of we all had a lot of optimism going into this year for Justin Fields taking the next step.
Sure.
And to me, I don't know why Ryan Poles wouldn't have felt the same way. You had to continue to see what you had in Justin Fields. Now, this year, you want to make a hard-line decision on him. He's played in this league, 3 years.
Caleb
you
Williams.
have more of a perspective on who he is. But after 2 years and after the run he had in the back end of last year, how could you not roll over into this year, giving him more weapons, giving him a little more protection on the line with Darnell Wright and Nate Davis, and see what you had in him?
It was it was the safest play.
But that's the thing. I guess that's the thing I'm trying to say is just because it was the safest play doesn't mean it was the right play. And the reality is they did evaluate these quarterbacks coming out. And like the one super chatter quoted correctly, he had to be blown away. He was not blown away by any of these guys. And guess what? Neither was I. But if one of them ends up becoming great, there's something wrong with the quarterback evaluation in there.
Correct.
Like, I think the process is fine, right? Caleb Williams won the Heisman last year, right? In the same class, in the same year with Bryce and with CJ. So if you're thinking like, hey, the guy who won the Heisman is going to be there for me next year. So if I'm wrong about Justin, I'll get another shot at this next year. Unless I'm also, and because the Panthers are still going to be bad, I get their pick and I get ours. So I got 2 chances of still going back and getting the kid who I think may be better than both of them. And I might not need him because JF1 might be the guy.
Right.
So
I hear you, but that's also a risky game. Like, will you be there? Will you not be there? You don't know. You're here now. What's my chances? What's my evaluation? Do I think that if I add in the way he did it, I add in a top wide receiver,
sure,
stay with the same coaching staff, stay with the same OC, try to fill in around here, find myself some late round Tyler Scotts, whatever. Let me go get Robert Tonyan, who had a catch today. Should have bet him. But at any rate, point being, like is that you're banking on that versus the other way. It's hey, listen. I hope Justin comes back. I hope he plays great. it was a calculated gamble, and who knows how it will work out. But right now, if you had to bet on how it's going to work out, it doesn't look great right now.
It's not exactly fair, though. The revisionist history
not
is
about
my
fair,
point.
though.
I understand it's not. Hey, life's not fair. I said that on the pregame show. But where this team is in their rebuild, you know, and if they wanted to take, you know, CJ Stroud, that means you don't have DJ Moore on this team. You don't have Darnell Wright on this team. You don't have a future first-round pick that could become Marvin Harrison Jr. Or a future left tackle of this team. And those are the elements you need on this team to develop a quarterback in a healthy manner.
And that's a fair point. Poles was given a horrible roster.
Right.
Horrible.
So you can't put the cart before the horse and reset the rookie clock without putting these pieces around in place. You gave Justin Fields a fair shake. If he can't figure it out here in these last 8 games, then you reset the rookie clock, and now you have a healthier environment to develop whoever's next.
It's always going to be a part of it. CJ, Bryce, Jalen Carter, they're always going to be a part of the Bears 2023 draft class. That's just what it is. They're going to be associated with it. Is it fair? Is it not fair?
Right.
Who knows? Who cares? It's not fair to Darnell Wright, but I think it's absolutely fair to Ryan Poles. That's your job. You deal with it. Wear it.
And I guess that's what I'm getting at is, like, regardless of what our opinions were at the time, you're the GM. This was a crucial moment in your franchise's history where you had the number 1 pick for the first time since
Right.
What was it again? Like
1967,
like
whatever.
1932, and the guy
1949.
was selling
Yeah.
insurance.
So you had an asset that you've basically never had. You had to get it right. And maybe they did.
They did.
Maybe they did.
This is
They did.
Okay.
They got a great
okay. When
right
J.J.
tackle.
McCarthy's in his 3rd
They
year
got
as the Bears starting quarterback,
They got a
6
great
years from now,
right-
we'll see if they did it right.
I am not going to question this process. They got a great right tackle
We have
you
no
need
idea
in
if
this league.
I have no idea if they got it right.
They got a great wide receiver in DJ Moore. They have a future first-round pick that's going to become either Marvin Harrison Jr. or the left tackle Olu from Penn State. I am not going to question that move. They got it right. Okay. Now you have to take the next steps, and the biggest questions going into this offseason are your coach and your quarterback, and they have an out with both of those to change what they're doing right now currently with both those spots.
I won't complain about how they did it. I won't say they got it wrong. But there's no way you can say they got it right either. You have no idea if they got it right.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it all you want. I mean, Darnell Wright was – how many times was he called for holding today? And he's got a –
How many times we got to learn in this city that the quarterback can't do everything himself? We finally get the GM that comes in here and starts putting the pieces in place beyond the quarterback, and now we're going to complain that he's not doing it the right way.
No, I'm just saying you still have to hit. Right, so I get what you're
course.
saying on the process. You talked about getting the future first round picks and this, that, and third, but they have to hit. And so until Darnell Wright is a perennial Pro Bowl player, at least a 1 or 2 time
DJ Moore is a star.
Until Darnell Wright
fumble the ball and not
is a
catch a
perennial
touchdown
Pro Bowl player, a 1 or 2 time All Pro player, until DJ Moore is a continual Pro Bowl player. Like
you guys laughed at me with the whole DJ Moore thing, saying he was undoubtedly the best player on this team in the preseason.
In camp, he probably
no
look.
I know
seen
we're
team?
going into hyperbole. Well, you want to make the joke, then
Have you
stand
seen the
on it.
team?
I'm just trying to do an entertaining show.
No entertainment, no laughing. Everyone just look straight, no smiling.
DJ Moore's still the best player on the
I mean, look, DJ was incredible today. He caught 3 balls for 44 yards. He only fumbled once, and he didn't. And
He's got your noodle arm quarterback.
he might have
throwing.
dropped
We
a
all
touchdown.
agree DJ Moore is not the problem here.
No, DJ
Okay,
Moore's
Neither
Like-
will Marvin Harrison Jr. next
Not a
year.
true
He's
one.
not going to be the problem.
all we're
either.
saying is
Back
that
end one.
we do not know how any of this is going to play out. We do not know that he made the right decision.
Apparently, Braggs does.
Bragg's
And we
right.
don't know that CJ Stroud would have worked out here without all those players. So
No, we don't
get
know.
out of here.
We know he threw for a mile
All right,
today.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.